Well, we're talking about my favorite subject today. We're talking about Lexington, South Carolina. It's a wonderful community, wonderful people. But I want you to look at it a little differently. In the sense that if you're starting a business and you're opening next month, what should be your major concern? Customer development. If you've been in business for 5 years, what should be your major concern? Customer development. If you've been in business for 20 years, your main concern should be customer development. So today we're going to look a little bit at just who the customers are in this area and some insights into it. It's a very broad topic, very intricate, very detailed, but I'm going to give you an overview. So we're talking about Lexington marketing demographics. 5229 Sunset Boulevard is the corner of Mineral Springs Road and Highway 378. That's our focal point. So there it is on the map. The red is a 1 mile, the yellow is 3 miles, and then you see a 5-mile radius. Real estate people know this. Real estate appraisers know this. No business will locate of any size or importance in Lexington or Columbia or San Francisco without looking at these demographics. That's how important they are. So we're gonna have a little test. In a 5-mile radius, what percent of households have a net worth of 500,000 plus? Anybody want to take a shot?
8%.
D.
Okay. In a 5-mile radius, what percent of households have a net worth of 100,000 plus?
A.
All right. What is the total dollar of trade, retail trade, food and drink, 5-mile radius in Lexington on that map?
D.
5-mile radius percent of households, 19%. That was a pretty amazing number for me. 5-mile radius, what percent have a net worth of 100,000? 52%. What is the total dollar trade? $1.2 billion in that 5-mile radius. Now these are old numbers, 2013. I just got the 2016 data 2 weeks ago and did not get that entered in for today. So now we're really talking about market segmentation and who your customers are. How do you identify them? Where do you find them? How do you do your marketing? How do you approach them? So we're going to be looking at the red highlight. And these are segment number 12. These socio-demographics, there's 66 different market segmentations of lifestyle. And that's what we're talking about. So these are up-and-coming families. Does that sound like Lexington? Residents are younger, more mobile, and ethnically diverse than previous generations. They are ambitious, working hard to get ahead, and willing to take some risk to achieve their goals. And these are national statistics here. Median household income, $64,000. Median age, 30.7. You can read that. Education, 60%. College education. Hard working. Most households, 63%, have 2 or more workers. Careful shoppers. This goes back to your marketing. Aware of prices. Willing to shop around for the best deals. Open to influence by others. Customer referrals. Seek the latest and best in technology. Young families still feathering the nest and establishing their style. Rely on internet. Prefer SUVs. Lexington, I believe, is the SUV capital of South Carolina. Carry debt from credit card balances to student loans and mortgages. Busy with work and family. Use home and landscaping services to save time. So, landscapers, pay attention. Find leisure and family activities. We're really talking about quality of life, movies at home, trips to theme parks, the zoo, sports, backpacking and baseball, weightlifting, and Lake Murray. Now, this is the interesting part. They've now identified, and we did the red, but who are we like across the United States? There's the map. And there we are. And who'd have thought we were like maybe Southern California? So that's that particular segment. Now this is a different grouping. Bloombergs began growing in the 1990s, peak of the housing boom. Most of these neighborhoods are fully developed, affluent market. A high proportion of mortgages are well educated with a running start on prosperity. Median age is 33.6, household income 105. Well-heeled people, smart people. Well-educated young professionals, 52% college graduates. Longer commute times, well, that's one solution we gotta, one problem we've got to find a solution for. Well connected on the latest device. Financial planning is well underway. Financial planners, that's the area you should be looking at. Those are the people you should be talking to. Prefer late model imports, primarily SUVs, luxury cars, and we do see a few very nice cars around Lexington. Style matters. Personal appearances in their home. They want to upgrade the outside. They want to do landscaping. They want to do the lighting. They want to do the nice roofs. They want to do all kinds of things to improve their homes. They're likely to garden, but more often contract for home services. Physical fitness, including gym memberships and home equipment. Leisure includes a range of activities. And they're generous supporters of charitable organizations. And there we are again. You can just sort of see a little light shade, but who'd have thought? Southern California. Now, this is the next grouping, the ex-urbanites. Active in their community, generous in their donations, take advantage of proximity to large metropolitan centers, support the arts, prefer a more expansive home style in less crowded neighborhoods. They have cultivated a lifestyle that is both affluent and urbane. Age 49.6, household income 98,000. College educated, 80% have a college education. Labor force is beginning to retire. Unemployment remains low. They're more interested in quality. So we all know that the members of the Lexington Chamber offer quality services to their customers. They're concerned about what they're presenting to their customers. They take pride in their homes, personal style. Well connected, using the internet from everything shopping to financing, sociable and hard working. And once again, SUVs. They are active supporters of the arts, attention to ingredients. They prefer natural or organic products. And we're going to be having more of that in Lexington very soon. Gardening and home improvements are priorities, but they also use a number of services. Home care, maintenance to personal care. Financially active with wide-ranging investments. So once again, this should be a high contact for you when you look at the market in Lexington. And there we are, again on the map, just slightly there, and then there's the Southern California. So these are the breakdown, and this is on a 1 mile radius. You can see that circle at the top, you can see 100,000 to 500,000. And what's most interesting is on the 1 mile, 3 mile, and 5 mile radius, they're actually pretty close. There's a lot of uniformity. So then it becomes more about the breakdown of who they are, segmentation of who they are, and how you approach them. There's the 3 mile, there's the 5 mile. And we're going to talk a little bit about supply and demand. I'm not going to get into leakage and surplus factor today. Leakage is a consumer that lives in Lexington goes to Columbia because the items they want are not in Lexington. Well, that's not going to be the case, and hasn't been the case maybe for a while. But as we grow, we're going to have more opportunity to bring people to Lexington. And surplus consumer lives in Columbia, goes to Lexington because the items they want are not in Columbia. But this is really, really good. 1 mile. It gives supply and demand, and it talks about retail gap. Okay, there's an oversupply in a 1 mile radius because the population's not there. And you can see all the categories. These reports are actually over 44 different reports, and they can tell you how much a person spends per household or per individual per year, per service generated. And this is a 3 mile. Notice there's still an oversupply. Still the population's not there. Demand is 982,000, supply is 1.2 million. But then that's retail sales. So then you have to break it out and see where your industry or business falls in to see where there's a leakage, where people are leaving or people are coming into your business. So it's a little more analytical. And you can see there's every business in the world. So, the hardest thing for me to do is to stand up here and talk for 20 minutes. I could literally talk for 5 hours about this. So, trying to keep everything in tune here for Otis and his 20 minutes. Lexington has already gone through massive changes to sustain the influx of residents and consumer. Lexington is growing and continuing to grow at a rapid pace. But the big question for y'all is, do you know your target market well enough to make an informed decision of where your business should be focused for future growth? And the big thing about market segmentation is it allows you to be more focused. It allows you to really direct the arrow straight onto the target and hit that consumer that you want to do, that you want to bring into your business or sell a product. So please start thinking about these things, and we're talking about customer development. I thank you for your time.
Anybody have any questions for Pete? One back here, Pete. Yes.
You mentioned that you're going to be doing something in June. When is that?
Haven't scheduled it yet, but we're going to. We're going to have something in June that's going to be at least 2 hours long, because you just can't talk about this in a few minutes, and you'll have a much better takeaway. But I hope this really helps you think about who your customers are, where they're located. And you can move that. This is the most unbelievable thing, is you can take that point at Middle Springs Road and 378, and you can move it, and you can see drastic differences. Okay? And I wouldn't have believed I was doing for customer youth analysis, and it's just unbelievable how much that demographic changed. Say, just moved it 2 miles. Big differences.
Yeah, what's the what are the current numbers, if you know them, on the growth of the average annual growth of the Lexington area? What are those numbers?
I can tell you that in June.
Okay, right. And
Not only that, I can tell you, the big thing about this is I can do a comparison of 2013 to 2016, talk about annual growth.
Okay.
But the growth that we're going to be getting in Lexington, in Columbia, in Greenville, in Charleston, as we all know, By 2030 and 2035, it's just gonna be tremendous. So the big thing is, are you gonna be ready for that growth?
One of the other things that I noticed in all three ranges, that what the median or the average household size was less than 4, right? So on average, we're not replacing ourselves, we're having fewer than 2 children, to this. And I'm thinking that has some kind of impact potentially in the future as far as school systems and that type of activity is concerned.
Well, that's true for those data that we presented today, but remember, there's 66 different market segmentations.
Okay.
And those we're